They were rather easy to deal with. You recognize them because first they're going to run their mouth. They're going to talk about you, say you can't do it. Then when you start doing it, they're going to threaten you about why you better stop doing it. And then while you're in the midst of doing it, then they're going to tell you what they're going to do to keep you from doing what you already been doing. And the only way to defeat that is just keep on doing. Right. So they were easy to deal with, but today I want to talk about the other threats. Because see, if you get external threats, you're going to get internal threats too. In our text today, Nehemiah, halfway through the building of the wall is halfway up, things are going. Everybody decided when Nehemiah said we're going to build a wall, everybody said, well, I'm going to build a wall. Now, there were a few folks who said, I ain't touching the wall. Ain't nobody told me to build a wall. And they sat back and watched while the other folk built the wall. Well, why are you saying that, preacher? Because when we step out to do this work that God has put on our hearts to do, there are going to be some folks sitting in here, folk that we know and love, been knowing down through the years, going to sit back and say, well, ain't nobody told me. How y'all going to follow him? You don't know what's going on. I ain't putting my money in the building. I want to see what's up. What they going to do, how they going to do it. Ain't nobody tell me. Did nobody check with me? They're going to sit there and talk about what's going on. You ignore them. But as the wall was being built, the wall was halfway up, and then a murmuring started. So you got to get ready for the murmuring campaign. The murmuring campaign can be deadly. And what the murmuring campaign was with Nehemiah was that the folks were looking around and they were saying, you know, wait a minute, we up here building on this wall now. Now I know we done committed to build a wall, but we ain't got nothing to eat. There's a famine in the land, and we don't have any grain, and we had to mortgage our property so we could have grain to eat. And then them folk over there jacked us up, you know, charging us $0.25 on the dollar for this little bit of money that we bought. And then when we can't pay, they want to take our children into slavery. You know, something need to be done. Now, what they were really thinking, they didn't say it, but what they were really thinking was if we wasn't messing with this wall, we wouldn't have this problem. We wouldn't have no problems with this and that if we ain't jump into this building campaign. Why we got to build anyway? But then we don't want to say nothing because we don't want nobody to think we against the program. Amen, lights. I know there are folks sitting there right now saying, why we need to build? I got a seat. I want you to know, we ain't building for you. We building for all them folk out there that don't know Jesus. That when they get in here, they'll have somewhere to sit. That when they come by here needing some help, and I ain't talking about us paying that light bill, but we have to stop paying folks light bills and teach folk how to live. And we can't do it if we don't have facilities to do it in. We got folk dying before they're supposed to die because they're eating stuff they ain't got no business eating. We got folks living in relationships that are turning their lives around. We got children who are learning this culture of poverty because nobody's taking the time saying you can do this a little better. That's why we got to build. Ain't nothing wrong with this building. No, ain't nothing wrong with this building, but it ain't enough to do what we need to do. Amen. Amen. Well, I don't understand. Well, I tell you what, you come on over to tutorial. You come on Monday or Wednesday night when we're over there trying to help children get the basic stuff, trying to reinforce what they're learning in school. And there's so many kids in there that elbow to elbow. Well, why don't we just let them come on over to the Undercroft? Yeah, but then we got other stuff going on over here. Amen. Then we got stuff we want to do that we can't do because we ain't got no way to do it. And can't afford to take it anywhere else because you got to pay them to use their buildings. Right. I digress. Let me get back on track. These folks were upset. We've neglected our crops. We neglected our vineyards because we over here building on this wall. And then when we go to get a little help, these other folk are taking advantage of the situation. So I got to mortgage my land in order to get enough money to buy something to eat. Then when I mortgage my land, under the law, when a brother came to you in need, you were supposed to help the brother, but you couldn't charge him loan shark rates. You know, like Visa, MasterCard slip in when you hit that late payment, and then you wonder where you got a 29% interest rate. Parenthetical note, if you got a credit card balance, pay it off. They robbing you. Here we have people, folks in the family, folk in the nation who had a little something that God blessed them to bless somebody else, and they took what they had to take advantage of other folk. So now you got this class thing going on. And as we look at this thing was getting really messed up, because Nehemiah said, wait a minute, we redeemed some of our brothers and sisters from foreign countries so that they wouldn't be slaves for anybody else. And you mean to tell me here we in the nation and we enslaving our own folk? Something wrong. Well, what that got to do with us, preacher? When we put folks in office, when we put people in position, and then they turn around and use that office to exploit us for their own personal gain, they have exploited us. When we put you in office and you steal everything for you and you ain't let nothing trickle down, you have exploited us. Folk talk about Marion Barry. They say, oh, Marion Barry was stealing. See, that's why they went after him. Yeah, Marion had some problems, but the real issue was not that Marion was stealing, but that everybody up under Marion was getting paid. More black folk got to be millionaires under Marion Barry than any other government that we had in Washington, D.C. They had to stop that, and it wasn't illegal.